Democrats, people on TV, hosts, commentators, panel members. Joe Biden is keeping us out of World War III. Or Joe Biden, what would we do without him? Or Joe Biden, Israel's best friend. All right, I want to deal with this straight up. Joe Biden blew up the Middle East. Joe Biden has blood on his hands. He has blood on the hands, including the brave Iranian citizens who are rising up against that tyrannical Islamonazi regime. We're going to overthrow it until Joe Biden lifted trade waivers, lifted oil waivers, lifted cultural waivers, even lifted media waivers. In other words, breathe life back into that diabolical, genocidal regime. And he killed the protest movement. He didn't give a damn how many citizens in Iran were murdered by that regime. Never said a damn thing, not one. Neither did Blinken. Neither did Sullivan. Neither did their parrots in the media. Blitzer, Tapper, Mitchell, Scarborough. None of them said a damn thing. Joe Biden doesn't talk about the citizens in Syria who are being slaughtered. 500,000 Syrians, Muslims, among others. Not a word. Nothing. It's still going on. Not a word. When it comes to the Houthis in Yemen, another Islamo-Nazi terrorist operation funded by the Iranians, Joe Biden took the terrorism label off the Houthis. Just like he refuses to fight in UN, they put the terrorism label on Hamas. The Houthis have slaughtered unknown numbers of Yemenites. Unbelievable. Joe Biden says nothing. Nothing. Joe Biden says he supports the Ukrainians, but he doesn't want them to win. Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have died. Because of his feckless policy there. He never talks about the Ukrainian citizens. Ever. When he meets with Xi, he never brings up the 2.5 million Uyghurs that are in death camps, concentration camps, being raped, forced abortions, tortured, murdered. He says nothing to Xi about that. Zero. He doesn't care about the citizens. Not in China, not in Tibet. On our southern border, God knows how many people are dying. We now know about rape tents. We know about little kids who are being sold into sex slavery. How many? We don't know, but by the thousands. How many women have been raped? We don't know, but thousands. How many Americans have died? Hundreds of thousands over the course of his presidency. No front page, no concern on the Morning Joe, no concern by Tapper or Blitzer or anybody else. None. They say they're concerned about citizens. Concerned about citizens, they say. And I'll tell you what other citizens they're not caring about. The Jews in Israel. Of course they talk about October 7th. Of course it was horrendous. But they do not want Israel to win, which means the citizens in Israel can never live in peace. Ever. And if they do wind up carving up Israel, where 1/3 of the country, Judea and Samaria, the ancestral homeland of the Jews, if it is surrendered to the Palestinians as a reward for slaughtering Jews and kidnapping people, Israel will die. They don't care about the Israeli Jews. They don't care about the citizens there. I am sick and tired of this narrative that tells us that Joe Biden and Blinken and the American propaganda media and the Democrats are concerned about citizens, and Bernie Sanders concerned about citizens, and the squad is concerned about citizens. Oh, woe is me. They don't give a damn about citizens. Not in our country, certainly not in Israel, and not in the rest of the world. The same political party that has eviscerated local law enforcement in this country. The same political party that works with Soros and others to eviscerate our criminal justice system. The same political party in their city councils or in their state legislatures in Illinois, in New York, in California, other blue states, who refuse to punish criminals. They don't care about citizens at all. Not in any respect. Now, Joe Biden, I'm going to say this because I mean it. Obama was an anti-Semite, surrounded by people with the same ideology. Some of them Jewish, some of them not. I've talked about self-hating Jews and the difference between Jews who identify as ethnic Jews and Jews who identify as both ethnic and Jews of religious faith. I'm not going to go there again. I've explained it repeatedly. And I do so at great risk to myself, but I don't care. I truly don't. Because in the end, I have to answer to my God, our God. Not the CNN or MSNBC or not some of these Soros or Dan Abrams front groups. I have to answer to God Almighty and to myself. In the last 48 hours, Joe Biden and Blinken had put out the word that they want this so-called ceasefire to extend. And Iran, using Hamas, knows how to play Biden. They already got $6 billion from him. And a bunch of terrorists from Biden. They knew how to do it with Obama, too. And this administration, it cannot say anti-Semitism without saying Islamophobia out of the other side of its mouth. This administration will not enforce President Trump's executive order on anti-Semitism on college campuses, certainly not in any significant way. This administration, I've yet to hear a full-throated press conference from the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, the Associate Attorney General, the Attorney General for Civil Rights, the Attorney General for the Criminal Division, standing up front and telling the American people that they will do whatever they have to do to protect Jewish students. They won't do it because politically they rely more and more on Arabs and Muslims who've come into this country. This is a fact. This administration will not review its student visa policy. This administration will not go back and look at people who have entered into this country and overstayed their student visas. This administration won't look at student visas to see exactly who they've let into this country for the last 2.5 years. This administration does not want to vet people who are coming across our borders from every corner of the world. And you better believe terrorists are going to exploit that. They don't care. The goal is the fundamental transformation of America. And so I'm here to tell you this is the most anti-Semitic administration since the State of Israel was established. Because under Obama, there were some checks in place against the Blinkens, the Sullivans, outsiders like Thomas Friedman, groups like CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood that had access to the White House and so forth. But under Biden, it's the Biden whisperer, Blinken, who's in charge. The same Blinken who John McCain went to the Senate floor and for a half hour tried to block him from being the Deputy Secretary of State under Obama. Laid it out specifically the problems with this guy, the former senior foreign policy advisor to the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee that Joe Biden both was chairman of and ranking member of at one point. A disaster. McCain said he was a complete disaster. And he was right. So now, this regime in the United States of America, which will not protect us from foreign and domestic threats, they're telling Israel, we want longer ceasefires, as long as hostages are released, playing right into the hands of Iran and Hamas. So they pressure Israel. See, they have nobody to pressure in Afghanistan. The Taliban tells them to screw off. What of the Americans there? Well, what of them? Where are they? Doesn't matter. Nobody cares anymore. They don't even mention it. Not at any single press conference, any day of the week. Where are the Americans in Afghanistan? Don't worry, though. Joe cares about citizens. Tells Israel, should military operations commence, and they don't want them to commence, and I warned about this, you better limit the displacement of Gazans. You better be more precise with your munitions. You better not block the steady flow of fuel now going into Gaza. You better make sure those people are fed and are medicated and have water. You're in charge, Israel. Israel, you're in charge now of taking care of the people in Gaza, not defeating them, not ridding them from your border. You're now in charge of a welfare state to take care of these people while Hamas is killing them and killing you. And not only that, Qatar, which funds Hamas. Qatar, which protects the numerous billionaires who've made money off the UN money, off of our money, off of your money. Just steal it. Qatar is our leading negotiator for hostages. Then I have to hear fools in the media say, well, it's not Biden, it's Netanyahu. Netanyahu? Oh, yes, because he really doesn't want peace, you see. The left in Israel, they want peace, you know. They're really the peaceniks, you know. There's even a rumor out there, and I haven't been able to confirm it, but I'm trying, that the Israelis are trying to buy weaponry from other countries so they don't have to rely only on Biden and Blinken, including certain missiles from South Korea. This is a rumor so far, or more than a rumor. I'm trying to confirm it. But that Sullivan stepped in the way and nixed the deal. See, they want the Israelis to rely 100%. And then, of course, Biden says aid in the future may be contingent on following U.S. policy. Oh, and by the way, we want a two-state solution. And by the way, Israel, just go away, will you?